All right, hello everybody. This is episode 25, Training Without Conflict podcast. Today my guest is Harry Archon. Harry, welcome. It's been a very long time that I've been trying to get a hold of you so we can have that conversation. So I'm super, super happy that I got you here. I know for the IGP world, you don't need any introduction, but we have a bigger audience, so it will be nice to kind of give a little bit of background, how you got into the dogs and everything. I know we have a different way, like my parents did not let me have dogs. And I know your dad was into the sport, like you grew up with it, right?
Yeah, my father was the beginner. In the beginning, we have a Scottish Shepherd, a Lassie. This was the beginning.
Okay.
And the second one was a mixed German Shepherd. Was a German Shepherd, but was very tough, very strong dog. We trained him, and then he finished in the police because it was really, was still in the ex-Yugoslavia, and that time was a little bit different kind of dogs what we have today.
Right.
And after this, in 1985, my father bought a German Shepherd, but it's coming from the not showline, but was showline dogs.
But did you have like the German Shepherds back then in Yugoslavia? Were they more like the East German or the, what do you say?
I think I live close to border. I live close to Italy, and was a little bit influenced from the Italy. This was the regular dogs from Germany. East part was more in the Czech and Slovakian Republic now.
Right.
Czechoslovakia at that time. This dog was a normal dog, nice dog in the shows, not so tough like the dog before for protection and for obedience. But I think with a good training, we done the career with Schutzhund 3 that time, And but I decided that time this is not hobby for me. So I automatically turn to the working dogs.
Were you able to go to Italy, or was that difficult at the time?
No, we was able because we have a special pass this time. Because normal citizens have a passport, but we have, it was a little bit one. According with OSIMS was one according regulation. The people who live close to the border have a one special pass, so we never cross the border with the regular big borders, but also the small one, and was a little bit. We have this privilege.
Yeah. I know. This is I think in a lot of countries is like that. When you live right at the border, you have that luxury to be allowed to go because you actually have family probably on the other side too.
Yeah, because after the Second War. 1946, 47. When the Second War finished, the Americans, they make the border, and they took the white color and they just designed
that's the line.
And let's say this is Italy, this is Slovenia. This is who will come to the Nova Gorica for the World Championship this year. They can see these things.
Oh, well, I remember. Yes, I actually have seen it. I have a picture on this, yes.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I know that we haven't really talked about, but I mean, you also did helper work on a big championship, right?
Right. I was a beginner in that time, and I learned helper work in Italy. With my mentor was was a Slovenian man who lived in Italy. In that time, was very active in the dog sport, and for us, because in my region was the dog sport no developed, was just my father and something, you know, it was more east part Ljubljana and around, but my region was very poor. So we moved to Italy and we trained the dog in Italy, but in the Slovenian part of Italy, because we still have mini runs, Slovenian mini runs in Italy, and we have Italian mini runs in Slovenia. So I drive every day kilometers for training.
Crazy dog people.
And this was between 1987 to 1989. Then I was involved in the military period for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I was still Yugoslavia, you know, and I was in the military. I was all the time involved in the dogs, because we have dogs for the security service, for the magazine of the armies and all these things. So it was a good experience. And at that time we had the German Shepherd and the Scharplaniner Shepherd.
So you have to. I know the dogs because we lived in the same region. So you know. But these are basically like a mountain type of dogs, right? Like the Caucasian, like they're tough, herding guard dogs.
Yeah, because we was in big wood, and it was 4 kilometers of area to protect, you know. It was one military and dog, and that dog was very, very strong. No prey drive, but direct guarding to the person.
Badass.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So I finished this period, and I came back, and then start the war in ex-Yugoslavia. 90. I remember I was in Prague with my father. We compete in one Tsaci tournament and start the war. So we come back then. It was this short period, 3 months, 4 months, a little bit of fair and circus and everything, you know. And then, in 1992 was the World Championship in Ljubljana.
And that was the WSV, right?
The WSV was first one in 1989 in Maribor.
Okay, so that was a European Championship or something.
Yeah. I think in Maribor was the world already, the second one, because the first was European, then was first. I think in Germany there was the first one, the World Championship, and the second one was in Maribor. In 1989 and 1992 was the FCI World Championship in Ljubljana. Bert Ertz won.
Right, that's right.
With Lex.
That's right. Man, he was so young back then too. Like
I was 21 in that time.
Wow.
In 1992 was the World Championship with around 80 and something dogs. So the FCI ranged from one competition to another. The equipment for the helper was from Frabo, you know, in that time, all leather. And I remember it was 3 days, the World Championship raining like hell. And we was like astronaut.
Oh, and that thing gets heavy.
Yeah. So this was I was helper after 4 normal trials in Slovenia. And that time I was helper in the World Championship.
No pressure, right?
When you are in the full drive, you know, the pressure is positive.
And then, I mean, you are very, very respected judge. How did you get into the judging part? Because not everybody likes to do that. It's very difficult for some people. Like for myself, you know, I always ask you, well, when is the next camp? I want to come. But to judge a competition, like you just flew to the States to judge the German Shepherd qualification trial. And then you have to go back. So there is a lot of traveling involved with judging. What made you go to become a judge? Like, what made you like that side of the?
We must go a little bit back from because I made my judge license in 2002, but it's a way how I decide to follow the dog sport, because in 1992 was the World Championship. Then my father in that time 5 times compete in WSV. Okay.
Wow.
In my family also my brother compete in the FCI World Championship. Me, only mom no. Mom was to take care about the dogs at home. And interesting is this, I made in that time my training fields in close to the border. It's still working. And that time come a lot of dogs in for the training. Show dogs from like Rottweiler or show dogs like German Shepherd. In that time, I was also helper for some different Kerung and etc. etc. And I remember there was one evening, and I say, now I have to stop this. Because I take the decision, I will not train dogs for 70 points. I want to see and to understand the quality. And I build up a new group of the competitors. In that time, I train a lot of new people. They come from nothing with the first dog. And I bring these people to the World Cup, different. Or Doberman, or FCI, or WSC. And I start to follow a little bit of philosophy, and I still have this philosophy of now they are old, but from the people, from the judges with a lot of experience. One of these was like Ezio Guarino Roman in Italy, Gunter Diger, Hans Ottenauer,
Jürgen Ritzi, all those people, right?
I follow this, and I can tell you now I really understand the point of this philosophy. It's not easy because today it's more, but also in that time was a lot of influence, positive and negative influence of how what is good and what is bad. And then in 2001 I organized the World Championship in Nova Gorica, the first one FCI. I was around 30 this time. 31.
And
nobody believe me. They say you are too young for the World Championship. I say no problem.
Right, and then you did. I mean, how many times there was quite a few championships in Nova Gorica, and this year again you're making it happen, right?
Yeah, it was 2001, 2006, 2016.
Right.
2012 was Universalsieger for a German Shepherd, and this one happened, because this war in the plan was in Moscow, and then FCI asked me if he can do in Nova Gorica. I say okay. So it's a little bit extra date, but yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna be a great event. Now you've done it so many times that you kind of know.
Always same people from the beginning.
That's
always
perfect.
The same people.
That's
always
the thing.
Same people.
I mean, it's a difficult. What is the hardest thing when you organize this kind of competition? I know, no matter you have a very nice area and opportunities, but it still has to be difficult to make the organization, right?
The hardest thing is to have people which you can trust around you. I have Miran Marsh, he's our president of the Working Commission. I have Sasha Zweck, he's guy who was 2001, 2006, 2016, and 2023, and Miran same. And I have people around. When you make a good job and you respect the people and you respect the sport, the people don't forget this. Okay, don't forget. like don't forget wrong things or bad things, but also some good things. So it's after I think all these events, we have also a position to do. You know, it's a little bit different. So I remember the first one, or this one. It's yeah. But the people, they are important because when you make a deal, when you decide and you take the decision, you must be 100% these people will do.
And then you have the extra bonus because of the football team and everything, right? Like how tell how are you still involved with the football in there or?
No, I make the step back after 8 years. Was enough. I took the club was on the points to bankrupt, and I put the dog sport philosophy. You know, our philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline, focus, training, but for the football player, sometimes it's too difficult to do. Our mentality, it's a little bit different because, you know, my opinion is our sport is an individual sport. But anyway, the dog, the football is, we say it's a team sport. It's an individual sport.
Yeah, it's
because
still...
everyone take care about himself, and to put everything together is not easy, you know. And this is same like put together the dog and the person, and the helper and the trainer, and also in the nationals, you know. When you have 100 dogs in concurrence is one way. When you have 10 dogs is different way, you know. And the people, they smile together, but they hate together, you know.
Right, right.
Yeah, this is
humans.
This is humans. This is normal, you know.
Yeah. You also did with the giant schnauzers, right? Like something.
Yeah, we made one championship, yeah. But this is not they just asked me to do it and we organized, but I have nothing to do with the giant schnauzers.
Okay. So 2002, you how long is in Slovenia to become a judge? What does it take?
Minimum 3 years to 5 years. Impossible before 3 years. Impossible. So I start, I think in 99, something like that, or 98. Yeah, and then I finished in 2001 or 2. I already don't remember. But after my big experience to understand the body language and how the dog feel and how the dog they react was my experience in the special force in Italy. I work with in the special force, like not like policemen, but from outside for 10 years.
Oh wow!
And we really train dogs for the real mission.
They have to, yes.
And this is all the time in my head, you know. It's if the dog is real or is fake. If the exercise is, if the behavior of the dog is real or is fake.
That's very cool because that's because you directly experience, you know.
Yeah.
What we are doing.
You remember? It's you was competing in Leto-K, right?
Yes, yeah. You judged me, of course. This was the first time. I think that was the first time you judged me. That's when I won the world championship. Yeah.
It was in this hippodrome. You remember?
Yes, but what I remember mostly was the helper work at the time. Like it was a little bit difficult to.
I think it was altogether a little bit a wrong mix. You know, the field was very heavy, difficult. The helpers without any experience. The dogs was some really good dog stuff. Remember?
Yes. So you've judged like how many? I mean, I don't think you even know how many world championships you've judged, because I know you've judged at least one time every big one, but I'm sure that it's quite a few times that you've judged the world championships, FCI, FMBB, the other breeds for sure.
Yeah. Boxer, Rottweiler.
Which is your favorite part of like the judging? What do you like the most to judge? I mean, I know.
Protection.
Yeah.
Protection, tracking. I evaluate tracking and protection a little bit in same way. Protection, of course, because it's. I was helper for many years. I train dogs, so I have, and I hate tracking. I hate tracking in the beginning. I put a lot of energy. I train my dogs, and in Sevilla, I remember I get 100. So from hate tracking to 100, it's a long way, But I understand many things in this period. So it's tracking. It's in one side you have a field or meteo condition or field condition who always make one kind of question. This question is, are you able to do it? And the protection is a little bit similar. You have a helper who put a little bit of pressure or also make a question and say, are you able to do it? And the dog must give answer. Correct. And this is the way of philosophy, like between obedience is okay. It's not my favorite. I'm not, for example, if I say, okay, protection, tracking, or protection, tracking, and obedience.
Because the obedience is more of a orchestrated thing. That tracking and protection, you're kind of looking for the natural, what is in there in that dog, right? And you have, like right now, what is your position at the Utility Dog Commission? Like what?
I'm a member. I'm a member, and I help in the new regulation. We prepare for the writing group, and I give also part of seminars for the judges, protection and tracking.
Okay, because I know
Last seminar was in Napoli. I give protection and tracking.
Yeah, you always make some presentation at the judges' camps and everything. I remember what years was it when you came to, you judged AWDF and we asked you to make was it before or after?
Yeah, before competition.
You made a beautiful presentation back then. I wish that we made a video of that for our judges, and but I don't think we ever did it. But this was a good one. Like I still remember when, and maybe you tell me that again, because it will be interesting for all the people that are listening. As far as there was a point when you were like, okay, like to get the excellent and to get the very good and the excellent, how it takes to be, you have to have the dog, you have to have the training, but the dog has to be there. Like he cannot, just because you have good obedience, you cannot, the dog has to bring the character and everything for an excellent performance. You know what I'm saying? Like you.
I will try to answer you. Okay, you are a great coach. You are a great trainer. You know exactly what you have in your hands. Exactly.
Right.
So, I think to save the dog sport or to save the quality of breeding, we must honestly go to the primary target, and primary target, it's breeding dogs with natural reaction. So, it's your podcast you call training without conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why we build conflict? To build different kind of behaviors. to search some different kind of behavior. So I come from the old school and from the reality. The dog must be able to bite, must be able to show natural aggression. We speak about natural aggression. Natural aggression is something inside, you know.
Yes.
So if the field asks the dog, you are able to search on this field, the dog must have insight and say, yes, I can do it. Okay. If the dog during the protection received the frustration from the helper and the pressure, must be able to have a natural reaction.
A response.
With natural aggression is just, to be stable and say, okay, now stop. Or you kick me, I kick you. That's it. It's very easy. So I think we produced from ourselves our problems in the dog sport, because we, or I will say in different way, I respect the trainers because they are like, inventors. They always found the way to produce different picture.
Right.
They are artists.
To create the behavior without the what's inside.
Yeah. You can eat Parmesan cheese in Germany, but it's not Parmesan cheese because the cow is not the same, the grass is not the same, and the area is not the same, and the cantina to make him older is not the same. You understand?
Yeah.
So you cannot build something if you don't have a material. So important is the red line. The red line is the material. So to produce or to breed the dogs with good stability of nerves, with natural aggression. Natural aggression, I don't mean to see with the eye something, some dogs who show the teeth outside. I want to see the reaction of the dogs.
The response, to have the immediate correct response.
And the reaction comes from genetic.
Yeah.
I was in 1995, was the WSV championship in Hungary. And Haruo Masuda from Japan.
Right.
He was sitting on tribune, and look, one dog from Hungary. I don't know who was the handler, and I don't remember more the dog, but I know it was a great German Shepherd dog. And we looked this dog, and transition phase. Perfect. Bite, out, pack. And Haruo was close to me and said, hey, Harry, come with me. And we go to the parking place, we search this guy. Fortunately, he speaks German, he was speaking German. And Haruo asked him, how you teach this transition phase? And out. And he say, I don't know. He do himself.
Yeah.
And Haruo say, this is genetic.
The good dogs.
You understand?
Yes.
So
true.
this is one of point to understand a little bit the dog sport, and I understand many handlers, they are disappointed sometimes with the points of the judge, mostly from me, they say okay, but the people must start to understand what is a real limit of the dog.
Right.
Because if you don't respect the limit of the dog, you go over. When you go over, you build nothing. In 2023, many dogs, they are over the limit.
And when you say over the limit, in what kind of, just more trained but not natural? Is that what you mean?
Okay, I will go a step back. We have... how long you are in the dog sport?
Well, I started also kind of mid 80s, but of
Okay.
course we did some Russian military stuff,
40 years.
For
okay.
sure, for sure.
Good question. Now, how big changes was in 40 years in the regulation? Not so big.
I
Not
think
so
there
big.
was a lot of changes. It's one of my questions actually.
But there are always 6 blinds, sit in motion, down with the recall, dumbbell retrieve. I ask you in the regulation, in the standard, this is same like we have a standard for Labrador, and we have same standard for German Shepherds. But in the standard, in 100 years, how big changes have? No one. Von Stepanitz written the standard for German Shepherd. But today we have German Shepherd over 65. Today we have German Shepherd longer with the backside. They cannot walk normal. They cannot jump normal. And this is what I want to tell you. This is over limit.
Yeah.
Over limit. We go over limit in the breathing. We go over limit with the nerves. We go over limit with the training. So in our IGP standard, we have the dog must be able to change the drives from prey drive to natural aggression. The guarding must be active now, before was dominant, direct. We have these words for many years.
Right.
But we have, after 40 years, guarding phase in different pictures. The dog who wait, the dog who are in expectation, the dog who are in active guarding, but not with the dominant. We have few dogs in the world with the dominant, okay? And now I come, because I remember you are free healing. I was judging you or looking you a few times in the World Championship, but you have your style, and if I remember your free healing, your dog walk in the correct position.
Right.
Not to front, not to back. No pushing to the handler. In the right position, like regulations say. But many people will say, the dog of the Balabano is not active.
Right.
Because they want to see the dog who push all the time. And now what we have in 2023, not so often, but many years ago, the dog who are with the back side of the body
on the ground.
The floor.
Yes. Like you're watching two, like if you split the dog in two, you're watching two different dogs walking, right?
You know what they teach the old people, the old men to me? When you are judged on the field, you have to evaluate and separate the good and the bad things. Imagine the family come with the children to the tribune, and this child look something wrong. This is something negative for our sport. And you must say, stop. I think it's a time to say face-to-face or open the book like I do in the last seminar in Napoli. I say, we must say drastic. This is wrong. Too front or too back or too high or too up is same mistake. Overdrive or low drive is the same mistake, because we must search the balance. In the regulation is written, the dog must walk in the normal walk, focus to the handler, and no pushing to the handler, and must walk in the normal steps like the normal dog must walk. So we must find this balance, you understand?
Yeah.
And same is in the protection. We have dogs in expectation. Come on. We have dogs who is looking the helper because he think he have a ball inside.
Exactly.
Same is in obedience. We don't have this in the regulation. And the regulation, they are 40 years, nearly the same. What they written, the old men and peoples behind us, we always just push this way of the philosophy, but we lose the sense. We have Labradors with the head of Rottweilers. Rottweilers, we have a head of Mastino. German Shepherd, we have, if you have a German Shepherd with 63.5, what is the medium size, they will say this is the small. But go to the standard.
Right.
The standard is always the same. And the regulation, they're always the same. We have to start to read and respect this. You know what is the people are afraid. The people are afraid to say, sorry, man, your dog is 75, you must go out.
Yeah. There is a lot of difficult...
Or say, your dog feel very bad, it's over limits, I must stop disobedience, or I must stop this protection. We must start to do this, because otherwise the people will not understand. This is my opinion.
Yeah, and it starts to drastically change the modern dog. Like, I was gonna ask you, how do you feel about, or you know what, let me ask you first this, because you're in the utility commission, and I always am curious about this. Why did we constantly kept changing the name of the sport? Like, typically, in my idea, when we have a sport, and you're in the football and everywhere, like, imagine the football team changing their name every 5 or 10 years. There is no, like, you lose the identity of the sport and everything. So how did it happen to where we had a Schutzhund? Then was there something between Schutzhund and IPO, or did it go IPO, then IGP? But like, why did we end up changing the name so much?
I think what I understand in the past, okay, Schutzhund and IPO was two organizations, was WSV or SV, have this part of the protection and all these things. And then IPO come out and they put one program and this was good, okay. From IPO, they changed to IGP, I think because in the beginning was the idea to put him in the, because IGP is International Gebrauchshundeprüfung, Gebrauchshunde, from working dogs, okay? Because if you say to somebody, what is your competition? My competition is international Prüfungsordnung. They will say, okay, this was the idea, and they support, and it's okay. It's okay. But it's very important because the people say, this is our sport. Okay. I think the big challenge in the future, it's to take the decision, or is this our sport, or this is our competition or test or trial, how we select the dogs.
Selection.
Because anyway, the technology of the Formula One, they use in the normal production with the high-level cars. Brakes, gears, many stabilizers, many things they then put in where they use in the Formula One. They put in the technology of the normal production of the cars. For me, it's very important when I select teams, dogs, championship, anyway, to put the right quality training method and the right quality of the dogs. So only the high quality dogs and high quality trainings, they come to the excellent.
Right.
I must, like a judge, explain to the people on the tribune one very important thing to say. Okay, example. Ivan, this dog who is a medium level, trained well, and for this get high good. Because training was very high, the quality of the dog is a medium, brings high good. Right. Harry trained this super dog in the wrong way, and he get good. Because the quality of the dog is high and bring up, but the quality of the training is not high level, and bring good. And this must people understand. So because we have to show and to make a clear information, this is the right way of the training. Doesn't matter, all road brings to Rome. Okay, one use one and one, it's different, but the picture is this is what we want. And we have to say, this dog brings excellent. Because, we talked before in the beginning, you can train dogs, you can build up exercise. But what the nature bring, you cannot never train and bring up the natural dominant guarding, because if it's not inside, you cannot build. You can build active. So we say, okay, we have two type of dog: dominant from nature and active. Okay, dominant from 96, 100, active can produce 96. You understand?
Yeah.
So you have a chance to be in the excellent. So you have a high quality dog, but not dominant, because they are not dominant is very difficult. It's like diamond, but with the right training, good quality, you are still there.
So do you find, like, this is something I always, in the last few years, or 5-10 years, training is, progressively getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
But it becomes so artificial. Some trainers still care about what you're talking about. But there is a very, very good high-level trainers that they really do such a good training that they mask the true nature of the dog, to when for a judge becomes very difficult to say in front of the crowd, well, this dog doesn't have that natural character. You know what I'm saying? Because I
will do a question for you.
Mm.
You think the high quality dog with the dominant performance, with the dominant behavior, it's easy for the tricks training, or it's easy to handling him in the way like a not dominant dog? It's, for me, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but a real dominant dog, you cannot take him for the training like 95% that people do with the normal dog.
Right, because he wants his way.
Right.
Right.
And it's a balance between handler and the dogs. It's different, like it's a 50-50, because, dominant dog, you have to respect him.
Right.
More in different way. You respect also another one, because you have to respect, otherwise you have no relationship. But you respect him in different way. You must, with the dominant dog, you must accept.
You have to come to an agreement with negotiation there a little bit, right?
Okay. This is what. But this dog will, if he's, it's the dog who is self-confident, really self-confident, and who is working in his nature. He feel good. When he feel good, he will give you answer. I think the biggest mistake in the past, and this is also the part of the interpretation from the maybe commission, judges, people who we are all the time involved. It's also this part of aggression, Still people train dogs to build up the aggression in the dog. And this is wrong.
Right. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Yes, exactly.
This is wrong. You cannot, the dog who is, I will do very clear picture: prey drive or dominant dog, or aggressive dog, or natural aggressive dog. Prey drive. If the dog is prey drive, more you put the pressure inside. Pressure. I want to say to have aggression. More he will focus to the prey drive, because the dog always focus to the positive tools, to the positive things, to the things where he feel good. So if he feel good to play, he will more go there.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to build up aggression, natural aggression or dominant with the prey drive dogs. It's better work him what he is,
right,
and respect the limit of him. And today with 92, 276, you're
doing okay for sure.
You are on the podium.
For sure.
You understand?
For sure.
We must forget 282, 284, 85. It's difficult. But to be there, so respecting the good quality of the dog and train him in the right way, you are on the top. Maybe one mistake plus, one mistake minus, you understand? But this is the people must understand this. So I think the dominant dogs, they are 3%, 4% maximum in the world. 3, I don't know. Because some they come to the World Cup, some they stay at home for the wrong training,
Right.
But important is the dog must be 100% sure of himself what he have to do.
But the judges play such an important role, and not they're just like how you said, and that's my opinion, and I know many judges will get upset at me, and I'm gonna pay the price when I go and compete. but
this is the life,
exactly.
In the Champions League.
Exactly. But you know how you said there is a small percentage of dogs that are truly dominant, that are naturally have the character and I think with the judges is also the same. I think not that many judges even dare to look at and try to separate the two dogs. They're like, okay, well, this dog is barking active, and this dog is barking active, and they either don't see much difference, or they're afraid to say what they think because it's some big name trainer or something happens. Because if the judges are, if we have more high quality judges that understand that, the judges can dictate what kind of dogs we select and breed as breeders.
100%. 100%. I'm agree 100%. But I will tell it's a big challenge for
Yes.
all of us,
Yes.
Big challenge is because in our dog world we have full respectful handlers. Okay. Anyway, they have a little bit bonus. This is,
Of course.
and this is normal.
Of course.
We must think on one point altogether. Okay, you are one of the top handlers. You won the world championship. And then you have many colleagues with your level, on your level, or with the titles, and it's up to us. Okay, how we share the information and how to multiplicate. Not everyone is lucky like you to be on top, or your colleagues.
No, very true.
Not everyone from the judges, they are not lucky to be on the top or to have the experience to feel the dog on the fields, to have also the character and personality to say, I'm sorry, my friend, but this is 85.
Right.
Understand?
Yeah, that's
so it's a big responsibility, and this is what I learned from, for example, from people who was behind me and say, You will come one time on the point, and you have the responsibility to share this level to another people. So, you know, um, I I just I want to people that they understand how easy can be the dog sport. Easy. So forget the business seminars, tra-la-la, Sunday happy seminars. The people go happy at home. And the problem is the people must understand and they must start to read the regulation. In the new regulation, will be written very easy. What is primary target? What they are secondary mistake? And we talk, I also explain in some seminars, I can give you 96 when I give a price to your dog because he's dominant, or somebody cannot feel this kind of dominant, and they give you 96 because take half points here, half points here, half points here, you understand? Yes. So the red line of the exercise is hold and bark, sit in motion, down with the recall, retrieve the dumbbell. And I think in the last 10 years, we lose a little bit this red line. I know the people, they are still on the fields and they train basic position, and it's still wrong.
Right.
Because we focus with the secondary things. We make so big circus about this basic position and tra-la-la and position and tail up and tail down. Okay, the dog can be happy, but if he's focused, the tail maybe is up or maybe is down. This don't mean he's unhappy, because if he must be focused, the body must be focused. And happy dog focus can be happy, but focused.
Correct.
It's a good question, And if you train dogs 4 years and you come to the high competition, somebody will tell you, the tail of your dog is wrong. This is secondary. Stupid.
Yeah, but it has become a thing now. Like it's really like I know high level trainers that are friends from all over the world, and they're like, they would have a very nice dog, but naturally it doesn't carry the tail, and they're afraid to go on and keep training that dog, because chances are that most judges would see that as a negative side of the dog. Like, I really think that there is competitors and breeders that are selecting now for dogs that even when they're submissive and stressed, their tail is naturally like this, Yes.
I think now the commission is few people on the tracking part, few people in the obedience, and few people on the obedience and protection part, and we make a clear
guideline. Yeah.
And guidelines. We're working on this. Maybe one year later, better to come out. But important is to make a clear information to the handlers, because we must anyway work together. We must respect together, because otherwise we will not produce nothing. I never feel the handler like my concurrence in the field, or I will go there to kill him,
Right.
Because normally it have no sense. But I will explain him what I see and I will not make the difference between one and one, because it's. I always start from the presuppost. You exactly know what you have in your hands.
I like it. Yes.
You exactly know.
Yes.
You remember in Czech, you was disappointed with 19 tracking with me.
I don't remember, but I'm sure I was. I'm sure I was.
And you come to me and say, Harry, no, I say, look,
yes.
Take the video, looking again.
No, of course.
You will see.
Yeah, of course. But this is exactly the point. Like judges have to have the courage to, but it's not only the courage, they have to have the understanding and then have the courage, because you know, there is many judges that have the courage and they just are like, okay, I this is what it is, and it's somehow it's a big problem with our sport. You know, like I always think of, because, you know, after Bulgaria, I went to Belgium, and then I got more into the Belgian ring. And what is still interesting in the Belgian ring is that if you take a dog that was, I don't know, 1975, for example, and he scored 370 points, probably chances are that that dog with that same performance today would still score about the same, because the program is kind of solid, and it doesn't fluctuate, it doesn't change. Like in IGP, we I don't know why, but we always seem to have the flavor of the day or the flavor of the year. Oh, now this is even, you know, and then everybody jumps on that, and we start promoting this a little bit more of something. But we lose by doing that in some ways, you know?
You remember people lost a lot of time in the tracking how the dog is looking on the object.
Right. Yes.
In our regulation, it's very easy written down. The dog must search intensively and must convincingly indicate the object. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
This is the red line. So, but people push, make seminars, lose time, a lot of food spent for focus what?
Yeah.
Artificial, empty place or what? You understand?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, but this is where I want to tell you something that I also think about when, like, looking back in early 90s, when we used to have, let's take protection, what the routine was in the 90s. You had to, you call the dog out of the blind, you put him on a down, you go and search the helper. There was something about searching the helper because the dog has to stay a little bit longer there. And you get to see a little bit of that dog. Is he sleepy? Is he anxious? What is he doing? You know? We are missing that. Then we had the different style of the courage test. The helper would run away, turn around and go. And that also played in the dog. And no matter how you trained it, the dog had to switch from one to the other. I shot on one. I think it was beautiful, that attack of the blind when we had. But not like the you know, the show shepherds. This is a joke now. But when you do this exercise right, you cannot train a dog to do it. Even when they know, they are like, oh, they get twitched, and as a judge, the dog gets more exposed in the old rules. No,
my country is very small, so I can follow a little bit develop of all this our dog world for now 20 years, and the high level training always influence also to the low level clubs and the instructors and trainers. Okay, and I can tell you 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, 10, 9, 8, 7, just normal BH trial was a problem. Because the dogs was able to do only with some different tricks, or so And I say to my people in my organization, say, what is this? Sorry, the word shit.
Yeah. A little bit like a circus.
This is, they say, we give a certificate of BH, and I cannot sign this because I'm not sure if the dog is able to do.
Right.
And look, I was last week judging a BH trial in Slovenia because normally I don't do so many, but some clubs I go like, okay. And I was driving there, I say, oh, long time I was not in this club. But what was my reminder in the head? All dogs was okay. So I come to this club, imagine. Was, I don't know, 10 dogs. All 10 handlers and 10 dogs was on the front of the clubhouse, and the dogs was there. Lay down. And the guy say, okay, prepare the field. They say to the dog, down, and they go there, prepare the field. The dog was there, still there.
You're almost like, I'll give you the BH now.
Wait, and I say, okay. Then they say, okay, we will write the test. We have still the test, and some questions for the writing test of the BH. The dogs was all out of the house waiting the handlers to finish the test. They come to the field. They made all exercise, all. Free healing with the leash, free healing, sit down, bam, 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 all. So this is the target. We must go back. Our target must be, the dog must be able to do every single exercise. You say him, sit, where? In the restaurant, or in the street, or in the field, same. 7 years ago, if no position, if no this, hands here, this there, okay, I understand. The handler must have a part of freedom to handling the dog. It's not a robot. But we cannot build the exercise, or we cannot evaluate the exercise if the dog, for example, is guarding in expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's just sitting and waiting the handler
because of obedience. Yeah.
You understand? Look, it's not so like was, but when I was judging some obedience and I focused the handler, he was afraid how move the body before say sit. You imagine how much energy he spent for this thing. For this we have sit. Difficult. Yeah. Understand? Our mission is to balance two important things. So price the normal weight training, normal behavior, sit is sit, and cancel or put out frozen brain. Without conflict. Okay.
Right.
Without frozen. Because wrong decision for training frozen the brain. So the first signal the dog received, like sit, it's frozen, and then defrozen and have the reaction.
Yeah.
So this is stop, and then slowly. This is frozen and defrozen. And this is, we must say, this is satisfactory because you use over limits. Or you go over the limits of the dog, or you go over.
Yeah. The dog. It's not like I know exactly what you're saying. It's that separation. How natural and comfortable the dog is to respond to the sit out of the healing.
Because the reaction is like this: the dog go poop, frozen, because stop something in the brain.
Yeah.
Defrozen and sit.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's like this or like this, but it's frozen.
There is
so
that.
He need 3 seconds to defrozen.
Hesitation there, exactly.
Yeah, hesitation. But in the brain is, I always say, to be
no,
more
frozen
extreme,
makes sense. Yeah. But that's the.
So this is too important thing to explain to the people and say that's it.
So
today we have if you look 10 dogs, 9 push to the handler during the healing.
Yeah.
And they are a little bit not straight, but they are like this.
Yeah.
And 1 is right. In the normal trial, these 9, they are right, and this is 1 is wrong.
Because you kind of getting used to.
If you are right, you are not normal. You understand? Right. So this is the same. You have 10 Labrador in the ring of the show, 9 with the head like this, 1 with the normal Labrador standard. This is not normal. This is not good. This is not right. You understand? We must take care about this. Don't go and lose the sense what is right and what is normal.
Yeah.
Because we are oversizing everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
also, also we always talk about the pressure. This is oversizing, over. Or the decision, it's about the motivation and the discipline.
Right.
Our dog must, okay, if you want to get 100 points, the dog must do it.
Yes.
He must sit. He want to sit or not is different. But anyway, he must sit. It's up to you how you build. If he must, if he like to sit, you understand?
Yeah.
It's up to you. So, but if the dog think, oh, maybe yes or maybe not, you cannot get 100 or 99 or 95 or 96. It doesn't matter. And the second thing is respecting the limit of the dog. If the dog is not in the quality able to do 96, work him what he's able. Our biggest problem is because we lose the sense to respect the limit of the dog.
100% true. It's like, oh, I want my dog to sit like your dog. Well, can you run like me? No.
No. We call now Balabano, and Balabano will show to everyone they will sit in the same. Of course.
Right.
He will show how he trained his dog, but
exactly.
I'm not afraid to explain my experience. I'm not afraid to explain my tricks. I am not afraid because it's up to you if you are able to get this. Understand? Masuda teach me it was very interesting seminar one time, Masuda come and say, across the hands, this is your life 40 years. Put on the other side, I say, this is your new decision. This is automatically, this you must think. You do this 40 years, you cannot change tomorrow in this way. You need a long time. So it's same with the dog. When something deep inside, it's difficult to say, I will change. You can rebuild a new one, of course. But what is deep, and this is with the people, with the trainers, with the judges, education, new people, new education, more. Eberhard Strasser one time said to me, I say, when will be my time? You are too young. Okay. But don't wait, I will be too old.
Right.
And we have to share our information to new people because already new people are under the influence of the social, of media, they have already this idea, Sometimes in Italy, they ask me, what is new this year? Nothing. Same like last year.
But that's exactly what I was saying about how IGP always, I think it's like one of these sports, if not the only one, that there is always this new flavor. And now, let's everybody.
This new flavor builds people on the social. This new flavor builds the people on the field, tricks, seminars. A real substance, you understand? It's only one. You exactly know what you have in the hands.
But judges are under pressure because of that. And especially when the judge doesn't either understand or doesn't have the confidence to judge. It's like this. Look, I go to the field, okay?
in Letuke. I will tell you this experience. I was judging one Belgian guy, and I interrupt the protection out of control in the side transport, back transport. I say stop. And one guy from the tribune, communist, directly. I say, okay, no problem. It's but this I want to tell you. It's on the tribune you have 1,000 people who look you, maybe 3,000 on the working dog video.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
It's a big challenge.
Come, I'm here, and I see. So it's challenge. Maybe for this I told you before, not too old, because when I will be too old and the brain will not work like this, it's time to say stop.
Right.
Because we must respect each other. I must respect the handler and the dog and the work which was behind all this, behind this competition, So I must respect the public, the people there. But the people must also respect the limit of the dogs. They must respect the regulation. They must respect the decision of the judge. This is also the part of, and we must respect each other. And this is the way we can improve and show.
Yeah, I think there is this kind of disconnect. Somehow, I always wish that whenever there is a big meeting of judges, and you guys are looking at things and you're making decisions, somehow by the time they come to the competitors, I mean, first of all, most competitors don't even care. They're just training because that I see this one and it's looking good, so I do the same. And they expect that they will make the points because they don't understand what the rules asking for, right? And
right.
But somehow, if there is more education on the competitors instead of just reading the rule book, because just like how judges, they also read the rule book, but they get to have the judges camp and meeting and discuss. I think that's missing on the competitor side. That's where we have to start to work together more.
I can agree, but look, the Utility Dog Commission every year, out of COVID, because before COVID was in Austria and now it was in Napoli.
Yeah.
Every year fix this seminar, and I think it's good to come to join live there, because otherwise from video it's a little bit different. And this year we opened very, very clearly the book, not just blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And after 3 days, after 2-3 days of seminar, was very direct information to the judges who was there to share at home. And we do in Slovenia very easy. So we come from Napoli, we organize the seminar for judges. Immediately after this for the trainers, and immediately after this for the handlers.
Yeah.
So all levels get the very clear information. So when I'm judged in this way, and I give you the information, I will judge you in this way. So no discussion.
Correct. But some countries they're better organized, and there is other countries that, let's say,
maybe it's a good idea. We will do something also for the handlers.
Yeah.
The utility dog commission is not commission only for judges.
Right.
It's a good idea. We will talk about it. Why not? Why not?
I think it will be very, very good because, again, that kind of collaboration puts us all together having the understanding. And let's say, I'm sure not everybody that competes will want to know.
Sorry, interrupt you. Our target is the handler must exactly know when he buy the puppy, in which way we'll follow the training.
Right.
This is not the philosophy. The philosophy must be one. Philosophy of the dog sport is like religion. We cannot change from today to tomorrow or after 4 years because we destroyed the generation of the dog. We must have one religion. You remember the German Shepherd Club, the German Shepherd philosophy was one religion. They follow this religion. We have to follow this religion. This is my thinking, and we have to push this. So, you decide the dog sport religion, you exactly know.
Right.
Active, dominant, intensive, convincingly, path, finito. So how you develop this? It's up to you because the handlers are genius. The judges never develop the training. The trainers develop the training.
Right.
We just ask what we want. So we have to respect the trainers, but the trainers must respect the limit of the dog.
Yeah.
They cannot go over.
Yeah, this is when, like, if, that's where the disconnect is also when, like, you as a judges, you know what you're going to look for, but then there is somebody out in the world that is giving seminars and is teaching everybody that new flavor and it has no, and many people that want to do very good, they put so much time.
Yeah.
And they go to these seminars and they're learning something, but if they had access to what judges will be looking at, then they can say, oh, you know what you're teaching doesn't make sense. I'm wasting my time here. I think there is something to be improved somehow there.
Good idea. I will open the discussion also.
And do you guys, like when you do the commission, like the meetings and everything, I know every once in a while this comes in some conversation, but having also some competitors that can either give input or get consulted, like, hey, because it's everybody's sport. And it's like, hey, what do you think about this? And maybe, like, I had these ideas, like having, let's say this year, 10 high-level competitors that also somehow have at least opportunity to express some ideas. And then you say, well, that's a very bad idea, but maybe there is one good one. And then the next year, we take another 10 competitors. So it's not like always the same people. Because when you think about it, I mean, there is at least 100 competitors, that are very, very knowledgeable. And if we have, like, I'm just thinking of ways to collaborate so we can be.
This year was a judge seminar, and there was a lot of young judges who are also good handlers.
Yeah.
And who made also results in the past, and it's okay. It's okay. This is, of course, I'm sure this is the way to go, which we can go together and to develop better things for the program or for everything. Um, but it's not easy. Uh, it's uh, it's uh, it's it's important to understand. Um, I don't say, I want to say to split or to divide the two words, handlers and judges, no.
Right.
But but it's um, it's up it's up to us. How I told you before, to build the red line. This red line, we can call him the dog sport or the dog world religion, or I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Understand? And to say, okay, this is, you understand? So we have to respect both. To make more clear. So I told you before, we cannot share information to the handlers in the wrong way, and they don't know exactly what will happen on the World Championship, or on the exams, So it's a part of the philosophy of the sport, and I think we are on the good way, because we touched the very bad moment last years, and I saw in many countries. I was judging the qualification is going a little bit better. It's important to accept sometimes also 85. If you don't accept, it's difficult to enjoy them 96.
How do you feel about the one judge instead of two judges at the same time, or how FMBB has 4 judges and a supervisor, so that makes 5 judges at the same time on the field? What do you think about that? I will tell you my concern with that. Like, from all the times that I see it, it almost becomes some sort of competition between the judges. Who is more precise, who is more harder, instead of focusing more on the quality of the training and the quality of the dog. They start to be like the performance becomes about, am I better judge than you? Am I gonna see more and give less points than you? Like, that's how I start to feel lately.
Okay, FMBA is another organization. I'm the
Right.
judge of the FCI,
Right.
so I respect our regulation. This is very important to make it clear in the beginning. The IGP competition is not more hobby. Okay, so when you take the decision to go there, you must be 100% sure how able you are to do it. It's very easy speak behind the computer,
right?
But it's very difficult to take the microphone on the stadium. And what I saw in the last years, the people have no courage to give points, because we is coming on the situation where the people are afraid to give points. Sometimes, not always, sometimes.
Right.
And this is what we have to take care. But to give points, it's normal, because they are afraid, because we're coming out from one period where the secondary mistakes was big mistakes. You understand? So it's under the influence of the people. So, look this, pop. So we have to refresh the brain of the judges, refresh the idea of the handlers, and says, primary is how the dog sit, how the dog is focused, and secondary is secondary things where you can, Sometimes people lose 20, 30, 45, 50% for litters who are
not critical. Yeah.
Not critical, you understand?
Yeah.
So this is a little bit, but this is normal. And my feeling was when I judged with two judges was okay. Was okay when my partner was similar level.
Correct. When
and then is okay. But anyway, it's out of the dog sport. Out of the dog sport. It's normal when they are two. If they are too dominant, bam. If the one is dominant and recessive, the dominant is handling. The recessive is following. Understand?
Mm-hmm. But there is that fight. Who's gonna be more dominant?
Yeah, and when you go to more dominant, then you go with the less points, not with the high points.
Right. Right.
But okay, it's a decision of the organization. It's okay.
Yeah, for sure. So you think the direction that the sport is going now, you're optimistic that we will...
For me, it's most important thing to have a position in the world. Not me. Our IGP sport.
Yeah.
Position.
Yeah. What I mean
with the position. Our position must be taking care about the training, taking care about the breeding. The quality breeding brings security to the citizens, to the country, to the service. Because from our selection, the dogs go, police, military, searching for the explosive drugs, because all these service need stable, self-confident dogs.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And if we understand this, we can come also to the court and say, this is our position.
Right.
To tell our sport will be afraid to say this is our position. The people will, another people or another personality will always shit or kick us because you took the dog for the ears, or you say, so I don't know, we are talking about maybe the dog feel good or bad. I don't know. You understand?
Yeah.
So we have to find our position, and our position must be fair play, understand the limit of the dog, respect the limit of the dog, train him in the natural way. Come on, if the dog have nothing natural inside to do, okay, stay on the couch and sleep.
Right.
If you have special things inside, like the Hungarian dog, natural, pup, okay, follow him. Or if somebody train in the way to see, wow, how you train this? Yeah, I train this way, but for this way, I need the dog this way. Okay, understand? This is our target, not tell up or tell down.
There is a responsibility of like what we do as judges, as competitors, as breeders. Like we're trying to maintain this type of dogs that a police will need, the military will need, because they cannot, no matter, they have their little breeding programs, but they cannot have enough.
They don't have enough, and it's another situation. Ivan, you are a breeder, and you train your females,
right?
And you compete with your dogs,
right?
Okay, so they already understand. You already understand how the dog work under not the physical or mental pressure, but under the pressure from you, because you must do it. You must go there. You must compete there. Somebody give you evaluation. You have to come to the starting point. This is one part of your pressure, you know. I don't know how you feel when I don't believe you feel free and easy when you come to the starting point. You are under the pressure.
Of
you
course.
Like a handler.
Of course.
And this pressure you have to share. You know, when I was competing first time, I say, "Come on, my dog, sit, please, sit." When I say sit, just sit. You know?
Yeah.
This is pressure. This is pressure. This was beginning. Eindhoven, 2004, I said, "Dog, sit, just sit." When I say sit, sit. You will sit. I was talking with him like, you know, somebody looked me and say, "We're crazy." But this is pressure. So when the dog is working under the pressure, this kind of pressure, this is same in the military, you know, or in the police. Nobody will go there to take the whiskey. They
Right.
just go to make a job and is under the pressure. And working under the pressure, it's not pressure when you kick somebody, but pressure, you know, it's
A responsibility to do.
responsibility. When you're working under the responsibility, it's a different performance.
Yes. It's the same thing like if you go to
I
school.
hate people say, you have a female. Yeah, it's super female. YouTube. Show me. Show me the responsibility.
But this is
Understand?
this is where I think right now it's a little bit of a crossroad because of looking about that happy dog that it's almost not just happy, but it's almost like you know that if you do one more healing, maybe it's not going to happen. But it looks very happy.
Our last product in the dog world is in the IGP is the guarding in expectation.
Yeah.
It's the same like you talked before for obedience, you know?
Yeah.
It's a behavior when I always say, if this helper go seriously to this dog, what will happen?
Right.
Or on the long attack, if you put the machine who go always the same way, how many days stay on the sleeve? You understand?
Oh, I do. I'll give you an example of this. And this is like a very interesting situation because, and you know, especially like some of the European countries, there is places that breed and train dogs to sell to the armies around the world. And they train them very skillfully to act aggressive with the gun, to search for a ball, to these things that typically when the buyers come, they will test.
Yeah.
And eventually they're so good that when somebody goes to buy a dog, they have to become now even more creative to think how they can strip down everything so they can see the real dog.
But this is the same. I do this for my job, you know, and this is same in the IGP. The handlers, they produce so many tricks and so many things, and it's up to me to evaluate if it's this really or not. I will never go to touch this discussion, and I will never go say, you know, I suppose your dog is
right,
because I have to evaluate what I see, not what I think.
Yeah.
I will never do this because it's incorrect.
Yeah.
But I evaluate the reaction. The reaction of the dog on the helper, the reaction on the field, and the reaction on the tracking. So I want to see the reaction. This is the most important thing, the reaction.
How do the rules, how does the rule changes? I'm sure that's an interesting one for everybody.
IGP3, not so important things.
No, I'm not talking about like what is changing, but how somebody comes with an idea, well, let's make the sit instead of 10 points, 5 points. Like how does this kind of ideas come to be discussed at the commission or?
What do you think about the points, or I don't understand you exactly?
I don't know. I mean, think of, let me give you an example of protection. How many different ways we had so far about the dog making a bark and hold in the blind, and you call him to you. Then you had to say the here first. Then there was the time where you had to walk to the dog and heel him back together. And, there is all these variations, and how these ideas come in place. Who all of a sudden says, you know what, let's do this instead of what we have right now. You know what I'm saying?
I think, yeah, but I will go generally, because generally, not only the commission, generally is working always like this, It's...
I just think this is a big mystery for most competitors. Like, we always wonder how it happens.
Okay, it's... I will just go to the very simple example, The position of the body when in the free healing, when the handlers walk with the arm open and all this. This is very easy and simple example, okay? The dogs, most of the dogs was too back and they focus under the shoulder and blah, blah, blah. So it's the picture for the people who develop the program. It's very easy, It's very easy to say, okay, we have this. What produce this? In different breeds, produce a wrong body position. Wrong body position brings problems with the backs, the problems with the oversized developed muscles. You understand?
Yeah.
Or problems, healthy problems. So we have to say this picture out. Everything what is unnatural, out. And this is a little bit the way how to follow. So more the trainers develop artificial things,
right?
More the commission must control this. You understand?
Yeah, I hope so.
Everything is danger for the dogs. We have to say out. So I think it's coming time, and this commission is working good. I believe there are a lot of good handlers inside, good judges.
Yeah.
We will say, okay, this is a glass of wine, and this is the wine. Or this is a glass of water, and this is water. Not a little bit soda and a little bit wine.
Right.
Clear. That's it. And we have to maybe collateral damage will be something like, who was in the wrong way will be on the wrong way. But we have to say, now, stop. Because, when you are infected from the virus, you must clean. If you leave a little bit,
right,
it's problem.
Comes back. Yeah. That's the
it's I always compare with the breeding. Every litter or every generation.
Yeah, and by the way, we never said, and I should mention this because you're also a German Shepherd breeder, and that would just we never even mentioned this, which is important. But yeah.
I will go to Labrador. If every generation leave head more high, more big, the size more large, they will come over. I saw some dogs in the show. I said, this is Labrador.
Yeah.
How this dog can swim?
They cannot function no more.
You understand?
Yeah.
So this is same. You remember it was a period when the dogs have a head like this in the free healing?
Right.
Mali?
Right.
They tried with German Shepherds. Was not able to sit. And this is something who is going over. So I think the most big challenge in the future will be to understand a natural aggression, a natural reaction, a natural behavior. You understand?
Right.
To say, okay, if we have 10 dogs and 9 is pushing, the challenge will be say, these 9 are wrong and this one is good. To accept this. You understand?
Yeah.
All rest is steward, not steward. This one, this is bullshit. You understand? To understand the way of the interpretation of the sport, the red line. What is the red line? Red line is producing or supporting the right training and the right breeding. The right way of training and the right way of breeding.
So, you know how, like I mean, I'm sure you know this, and I know a lot of competitors and trainers around the world that are very concerned that the sport is starting to change to where we will not be able to expose the character of the dogs anymore. And we will start to have, more dogs that will have a, you know, like you will have a dog that makes very nice obedience and then is very active in the barking and has a good bite, but it doesn't have the insight. And it becomes more difficult to separate those dogs and say, no, those dogs are in lower category. This is a concern for, I think, for a lot of people that compete now, that's kind of where we are going with the IGP, to where it can become we can start selecting weaker, energetic dogs, that if some plastic bag flies on the field, maybe they will actually react to it, you know?
First of all, we have to understand and to accept the good. You know what is good? The good is normal dog who do all exercise in the normal, good way. So, honestly, if you go to touch the regulation and the behavior of the dog who are extremely too front, too up, too high, too, is not more good. Honestly, this is satisfactory.
Right.
And when the people think to have the dog for excellent or for very good, and the valuation come good and they are disappointed, and they search the reason of the unsuccess in the judges or in the evaluation, to tell, we will have this kind of problem. So I think the one of the biggest challenge will be in the future to explain what is good. Good. So okay, good is just normal. 1 time superior quality of the dog, and 1 time superior quality of the training is very good.
Mm-hmm.
But this is superior. You know, superior is something
else. Yes, it stands out.
Yeah. 2 times superior quality of the dog and 2 times superior quality of the training come to the excellent. And this is I think in the future, and maybe the resume of this our podcast is to put people together, to start to think together, and to believe in the religion together.
Right. I think I think there is
to take the conclusion of the of our talking and discussion.
Yeah.
Of the dog sport, you know.
My fear right now is that the sport starts to become more obedience oriented than how it used to be. Obedience, of course, is important, but but ultimately, the dogs in our sport, they have to show a quality in protection, a true quality. And
also in the trekking, natural.
And the track, yeah, right. But but don't you think that it's becoming more and more of a obedience sport? And in the protection also, it's becoming more of a tricks and games. And
also in the protection, there are tricks and games. Of course.
Right. But
for this, we have expectation guarding face.
Okay, I'm gonna say something totally out there. Of course, it doesn't make sense, but it's more to just as an idea, so we can put the focus back in protection and tracking, and not to be all about obedience. And again, that's what I'm going to say now. It's kind of funny, but just so you understand what I mean. Like even with the points, if we say obedience, instead of being 100 points, is 80 points max, but protection is 120 points, because it is important for us, that part of the work. Of course, not to change it like this, but just to give you an idea that...
You have three disciplines.
Right.
The trekking is normal trek, not we don't talk about a green grass golf field.
Right. Yeah.
It's selective, okay? You have a protection. If you evaluate, trust me, if you evaluate the protection in the right way, you make the difference.
Right. So you think have enough.
And if you evaluate the obedience in the right way, it's coming difference.
So you think that we have, and at the moment, how IGP is, especially as we took the stick hit away, we have enough opportunity to still expose the dog through nature.
Yeah. Yes, because but we must be care. We must take care about this. It's not easy, because for the moment the dog still under the influence of the.
Yes.
Okay, but I think with the right balance between education on the education on the teaching and training dogs, and education on the breedings, I still believe I'm one of the old thinking. Our sport, it's breeding and training together.
Right.
The people must understand how big responsibility is to say, when you say this dog is excellent, this is a big responsibility.
Right.
Because behind this can be 20, 40 liters immediately, and can be something wrong or something you produce good. We know, this is my experience, there was in the past some dogs push.
Yeah.
And after this we produce nothing, you understand? And when you have 100 liters in all over the world, you produce 500 problems. You understand?
Right. No, and that's the concern. That's the fear that things can go that direction and really change.
So, but if you go a little bit back and we evaluate the natural reaction, the natural behavior, the natural solving solution, we go back to the nature. Back to the nature.
How I have this idea that just like everybody, we all have ideas, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But now that we have the stick hit away, it's difficult. It makes it more difficult to evaluate, right? There is no question about that. Can it be evaluated? For sure. But is it more difficult? Yes. How is it even a possibility to change something in the way the protection routine is set up to where we can expose the dog? For example, you know that if you, I mean, you know very well because you train with military dogs and everything, like allowing a dog to have more of a passive bite. So it's not that the helper just puts the dog and just takes them on a big ride and it stops, but slows it down a little bit. Or maybe keeps them on a still bite. And then you see a dog that is here and it's like, are you comfortable? Are you concerned? Is the training going to break? You know, giving that more time for the judge to and the helper to expose the dog. Like, is that something that you guys think of or no? Because, you know, if you put a dog on a bite and they don't get much...
I understand. You understand. It's, you know, we have one very easy conclusion also in the group, and but this is maybe a little bit more my personal opinion, and I always stay behind my personal opinion. You know, the people all want changes, but nobody wants change. Okay? And I think it's not the group who the group is not limited for the changes. And the group always search the solution. I think the stick out now will produce in 1-2 years for sure a little bit different picture, of course. And we already think how to evaluate different situations. We already think what to introduce inside. For the moment, is it like this? And we already have some different interpretation. We already give this signal to this on the seminar in Napoli, how to evaluate different reaction. And normally, the dog now, to be in the excellent must be really good in the both part, not only in the first and the second a little bit less, because, you know, in the second part with the some today, like before, it's more extremely to see the dog in the second part. They are not physically able more to resist of the pressure physically, you know. They come empty, and this empty means good or means satisfactory. When you touch to the good and satisfactory, it's going down. You make the difference, you know. So it's for sure will develop, but it's a joke. It's a joke, but not joke.
Okay.
So, but you are in the Yugoslavia. Our target when I was the helper, how many dogs I will send away?
Yeah, there's still helpers like that.
Today, mostly we have this kind of problem. We don't have a pressure.
Right.
On the protection work, you know, we have a speed, we have a nice picture, we have a nice photo, we have a nice suit, we have a nice color. But everyone is afraid to do the mistake. When you are afraid to do the mistake, you not go to the limit.
Yeah.
But you, like handler, you have to train the dog to the limit, close. If you want to be top. So everyone for the top must try to do better to the limit, not over the limit.
Right.
Respect the limit. But
the dog has to have, I mean, the dog and the trainer, they have to have a challenge.
Yeah.
But the challenge has to be something that the dog and the handler can accomplish, because if it's too high, it breaks down. If it's too low, it becomes...
You know, I hate people when they say, you see, for example, this, I will say, I will use your name. You see Balabano, he made the mistake in obedience. He tried to go to the limits. Between limits, excellent, and down, it's very tight border, you understand?
Yeah.
And I respect people when they try to go to make the step over more. to go a little bit up, because if you want to be sure, you just go 5% before limits. You make the step down. You understand? But if you want more, a little bit more, you want to develop a little bit, your risk is higher.
And so correct me if I don't get it right, but there is a little bit more consideration in favor of a dog that is responsive and reliable, and it's almost like the dog is putting stress on its own to do the right thing. Kind of like if I have to go and pass a test for some exam. I mean, if I care, I would be stressed about it a little bit. Otherwise, I would not get the test. And
of course.
And so, like, there is this, like, for in the whole IGP world community right now, I don't think we are clear as competitors how much of that responsibility and stress is okay, and where is that line to where we say, well, that dog is pressured and you're a not good trainer and you're going in that category, or you're getting disqualified. I don't think we understand where that line is and how to train.
But the science say the happy dog is the dog who is under the working progress. When the dog have clear idea and he want, and he's under the working progress, he's a happy dog. So the happy dog is not the dog who is all the time on the couch and sleeping.
Correct.
So if the dog like to work, and this is what he make him happy, just develop this.
That's good. I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to us will.
No, but this is not because Harry Archon say or Ivan Balabanov. The people who study behavior of the dogs, and the science say the happy dog is the dog who is all the time working.
Right.
We have no time to spend for stupid things. You understand? Because
yes.
The dog like to work, because for him make him clear.
Have a purpose in life, even, you know.
Yeah.
Just like us, like you have meaningful life.
All of us, we must make step back. Thinking, meaning, training, judging, and to evaluate the nature quality, the quality of the nature quality of the dog. Both. You understand? Step back. Try to found and to make the courage to say this, it's okay, and this is not okay.
Right.
Not say, yeah, but maybe yes or not. This is wrong. White, black.
Yeah, this is where it's difficult for trainers preparing, because they don't have, and me included, you know, just not knowing where I will be if I don't make the dog. And we know with good training you can make a dog have the tail up, but here he's not feeling that way, and everybody knows it.
Okay, I will use this idea. I promise to share in the and to understand and to put something together. It's a good,
very cool.
Good idea. I have no problem, of course. But it's the conclusion is together we can do better.
Yes, we have to. I think both. I mean, I was gonna say both sides. We are one side. That's the thing. Like judges,
in the same boat.
Yeah, judges, competitors, breeders. We are all in the same place. We just need to look at it that way, and like we love the sport, all of us. You know, we are crazy.
Not only we love, we are also a little bit dependent.
Well, yeah, there is some addiction. There is some addiction for sure. But we're afraid, and we're hoping that you guys will protect our sport.
We will.
And
for sure.
and I am sure that at any time you need any, I don't know what kind of help you will need or what kind of collaboration, but I know all the trainers will be very willing to contribute, you know. And I think this is important for all of us to somehow find ways.
I can tell you, in the group we have a good fighting and discussion, because we are people who all protect not only the ideas, but because they take care about the future. You understand? And this is good. I like this. So I believe we can do something good.
That's what I was hoping to come out of this one.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Okay.
Harry, thank you so much. This was, I think, I really think this was a very good conversation for the whole IGP world to hear that, you know, we're gonna have our sport and we're gonna go on and we're gonna have fun, and you know, it's.
I'm sure.
So
just we must protect, and we must take care about our position.
Right.
All handlers, breeders, trainers.
So we need some, just as you said, like some mission statement and stand behind it and educate and you know.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm super happy. Thank you for the, you know, like, I know you just go so many places judging and everything, and I know it's hard to do this, but I'm so happy that we had that conversation, and you know.
Thank you for the invitation.
We're gonna see you. Hopefully, we make another. Like we're thinking of something to where, you know, we invite back in the States and have some judges, more judges education, like for competitors, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So
must be regular education, this for every year.
Right.
Very important.
Right. This is it, because
in my country we do it this way because then it's everything more clear, and it's
it keeps trainers on track of what we want to accomplish, and then any kind of silly training or okay, so we have the silly training, but we also have the, you know, the other mentality from years and years ago, to where it's like this, oh, this dog and that dog is like this, but they're not, he's real. It's like, he's not real, he doesn't want to be here, you know. So there is these extremes, but when we stay together and we talk to each other, everybody knows where we want to be, right?
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
And another very important thing, what the group and the FCI always develop and take care and protect, it's a way to give the chance to everyone to win.
Right.
And to be together. And this is, I think, one of the best things. Also the working commission before with Franz Janssen and now with Robert, they do, so everyone have the same chance, and this is very important.
Yes.
Even come from Slovenia, Bulgaria, USA, Bangladesh, doesn't matter.
I love it.
Just yeah.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm so happy.
You're welcome.
All right, Harry. Take care, my friend.